you. And as always, go Big Red.
Need a tractor that works as hard as you do? Whether you're baling hay or feeding cattle, a John Deere 6M or 6R from Landmark Implement is built to handle it all. And right now, you can get 0% fixed rate financing for up to 72 months on new in-stock models. That's 6 years with zero interest on the tractor your operation depends on. Hurry into your local Landmark Implement or visit landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Link to Literacy's third annual Wordstock event will be at Antelope Park on Saturday, August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a community book swap festival with fun for the entire family and for all ages. Enjoy food trucks, kids' activities, a reading corner with celebrity narrators, including Brian Helton, President and CEO, Director of Parks and Recreation, UNL athletes, and more. And of course, free books for all kids and adults. Go to linktoliteracy.org to get the full story and then make your plans to attend Wordstock.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos as always for another hour here. Then we'll get to the best of the ticket. But before we do so, I mentioned it is Jeffrey's last show. So, Jeffrey, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the mic. You can talk about your experience and then final words for the city of Lincoln, Nebraska. And, potentially you may be back someday or another.
Yeah. If you tuned in last night, you heard my, heartfelt goodbye. And, I'm not going to lie. It really started to set in a couple days ago of me heading out of here. This summer honestly has been incredible. There's like a 30, probably higher % chance I start crying. I came in here being told that, probably just going to be social media content, which totally fine. Like, I love doing that. It's great. But being able to talk on air about sports is what I want to do. It's what I've devoted a large chunk of my life, my time, and my education to. And getting the opportunities to be on here with some of the greatest Husker athletes, the greatest broadcasters, and some of the greatest people I've met in my life has been a dream come true. And being able to do that so fast floored me. I mean, I think I picked up the mic for the first time on my second day of work. We're down at A1 Automotive, and Aaron Davis just goes, "Jeffrey, put on the headset." And
shout out AD.
Yeah,
such a great guy.
Such a good. Yeah, and talked about the tush push for like 30 minutes. And then being given a show a month in and then doing this with you guys, it's been surreal. And, obviously should finish my education. That's the smart thing to do. But there is a part of me that's like, oh, like I'm here. Mm-hmm. And it was, I don't think he meant to be as inspirational as he did, but I was talking to my dad when I found out I was going to get a show and I found out I was getting put on Ticket Weeknights. And I'm like, I'm just stunned. And he goes, why? And I go, because these were my dreams growing up and I'm hitting them at 21. And he goes, cool, get bigger dreams. And as
great quote.
Yeah. As just flippant as that was, I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. And it just, it reminded me what I was capable of. It reminded me that people here, you guys, and everyone else that's been here is here to help and wants to see me succeed. And just the positive environment. I'm bummed to be leaving, and I was finishing up my summer recap, and that's going to go up here in a few minutes. And I was getting teary, and, obviously, I got to finish my school. But, I hope to be back and hope you guys haven't heard the last of me. And, I'm bummed to leave, but I'm going to do what my dad said, and I'm going to go get bigger dreams.
Absolutely. Man, shout out your dad. Because I was listening to James Winston had a pretty similar quote to that the other day. He didn't dream big enough. And we got there and it was too late. Obviously, he was towards the end of his career. Well, not towards the end of it, but you can imagine the injuries and everything. But no, Jeffrey, I'll say it since obviously don't got time or live on there. You've done a fantastic job here.
Thank you.
People hear your voice on there. I don't know if everyone understands and appreciates all the stuff he does behind the scenes. And that really goes for everybody here at the ticket. But Jeffrey's done a huge part for our social media. A lot of the reels you see, that's Jeffrey putting in the work. Nobody, knows he's the one putting those up there. Not everyone that watches those understands the amount of time it takes, the focus it takes. And then in the middle of that, you're also in the back of your mind thinking about what do I need to talk about for the show? And then you're also thinking about, I got a show this Sunday with Ellie, my co-host. What are we going to talk about there? Oh my God, Harrison's calling me for the 5th time today. What do I need to worry about this time? It's a lot. This lot is, it can be demanding, but people always say it in the business of radio, your worst day, and you said it yourself, your worst day, doing sports radio is probably the best day at about a lot of the other jobs you had. So Jeffrey, I'll let you go. I know you got things to attend to, but here, everyone at the ticket, we appreciate what you did here. And even if it's the last time we hear your voice here on the Lincoln microphones, definitely won't be the last time we hear it through all of social media. So Jeffrey, once again, thank you for everything you did. Appreciate you greatly. And listen to your dad. Get some bigger dreams because you're great at what you do.
Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. It really does. And you've been a phenomenal manager. And it means a lot to get this much support from everybody at the station. So thank you.
Absolutely, Jeffrey. And there he goes. Great worker here at 93.7 The Ticket. We appreciate greatly what you did. And like I said, I know me and Rudy will probably talk about it when you leave. But really appreciate Jeffrey, man. So there he goes. And again, I generally mean everything I said. I didn't just say that because he was here live on air. He's been a phenomenal worker for us. And he's picked up a lot of slack. And I get pretty demanding at times for how much I text these guys and what I want done. And he's always rang the bell. Rudy, now you're stuck in my web. You're starting to get text messages about like, hey, I got an hour to take a weeknights. Can you make yourself available? And you've done a good job with that so far. But, we'll let Jeffrey, we'll leave him alone. We won't put his entire life out here on the airwaves. But I do want everybody in Lincoln to understand and appreciate the work that he's done for us. And I'm sure he'll have a successful career down the road. But Rudy, real quick, your thoughts on Jeffrey. I know we don't have to spend too much longer on it, but you've got to work with him as well.
Yes. Yeah. I remember the first time I met him was at a staff meeting because I had worked completely different shifts. So I'm here at 5 a.m. He's here at 5 p.m. basically. So we're completely flip-flop. But met him there and like instantly I was like, yeah, this is a good dude. Like he loves what he does. He knows what he's talking about, which is the biggest part of our jobs, I'd like to say.
You would hope so.
Yeah. He's very knowledgeable, very down to earth, which you don't get a lot from everybody you'll meet just anywhere. So I really appreciated him. We didn't have a million conversations, but when we did, it was like, yeah, like whether it was sports, whether it was music, whether it was just what's going on with our days, it was like, all right, like this is a genuine guy. And I nothing but respect for him. The job he did back there, the recaps, all these uploads, he even threw me on the Instagram. So thank you so much for that one. But for real, like everything he's done, I very appreciative of it. It's definitely grown us as a brand. So I mean, he's done a great job. I'm excited. He's going to do amazing things for sure. I might even cheer for Mizzou a little bit now, but who knows? So
I'll tell you what, that's one thing. I was like, it's the best part of our job is, you're going to have turnover. And it's great when you do get people like Jeffrey. We had Jackson as well. Jackson Kleinschmidt, remember the Florida kid. We got Tristan, who's with us now. We got you, who's with us. But you get this turnover, and it does suck, but it's also great because you get new faces, new stories in here. And then again, who knows? Might not be the last time we see Jeffrey here in Lincoln or anybody else. Jackson might come from Florida, but you do get that different perspective. And, for me, it's like WNBA volleyball. I can sit back and shut up and listen for a little bit. It's good to have kind of like, you fill in the gaps with different faces. If you got the same faces all the time, you're going to get a little bit too comfortable and miss some of the stories. Yeah. And I know covering volleyball for how phenomenal the volleyball program is here. It's good that we have people that are putting a big spotlight on it. Yeah, and he always did. So once again, final time, I'll say it and I'll leave him alone so he can focus on work and getting everything he needs to do before he gets out of here and gets ready to head back to Missouri. Once again, thank you, Jeffrey Calhoun, and really all the interns who have stepped in here and put in some good work for us. But let's talk about it. We'll get out of the soap opera. Let's talk about some Husker football. We got some quotes here. First, wanted to talk about Archie Wilson. I mean, this guy's getting a ton of buzz.
Yeah, I saw I saw a clip of him on USA Today. That was awesome.
Yeah, and for obvious reasons, I'm just going to play it. I'm sorry to do this for Archie Wilson because he's probably like annoyed by how often this is getting played. But this is kind of the reason that he went viral. And we're mentioning it. You similar to my mindset, like genuine dudes are just always good to be around. And Archie is certainly one of those. And someone asked him about his family at the latest press conference that he was attending along with Mike Eckler and Phil Snow. So here's Archie Wilson.
So what's it like being first time you're away from them?
Yeah, that part's hard. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, I love them a lot. Yeah, I got 2 little brothers and my mum and dad, and yeah, that's the tough part about being here. I love them a lot and I miss them, but it's I mean, they know this is what's best for me, and it's good. I can still talk to them plenty over the phone, and they're coming here to see the first few games, so I'm looking forward to that.
So there you have it. The first thing that impresses me, hell of PR training. He locked right back in. And I think we all kind of get that, especially when you're younger. Like, you're away from home, and like when you're young, you're just a little bit more emotional. I think it just kind of caught him off guard. And he was like, damn, I really do miss my family. And then you can kind of hear him, like, he processes, locks back in, and he's like, yep, I'm all right. Okay. I miss them. But just thoughts on Archie Wilson. You know, obviously it's kind of heartwarming. And then you also hear him like lock right back in. And then you're also hearing from everybody else about this kid's incredible.
Yeah, no, I'm not Australia away from Texas, but like, I think that's one of those things. I think it did catch him off guard in a way of like, he's probably been in so much of just practice football meetings, like to where he hasn't had time to kind of think about that, which I think, like, he did say he talks to them a bit or a lot, which is great. But like, I think that's something that, like, hearing that probably being asked, and it's like, wow, like you said, like, I haven't even thought about missing them really. And then it hits him. I think that's something obviously not great in terms of I want to see him cry more, because that was emotional for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is something that kind of highlights too, like, these guys aren't just football players. Like, these are people with real lives, people internationally coming over here to play football, play any sport really. Like, basketball is getting big like that in college. Like, these are still kids here. Like, he's 19 years old, I think. Yeah, 19 years old, freshman. Like, all freshmen anywhere are going to miss their families 100%. But being an entire country away, a whole ocean you got to cross,
really,
yeah,
probably
like,
one of the furthest countries you possibly can be.
Like, this is, I think it really sheds a light on they're still kids, and I think that's great in terms of that. I do think it's cool that it's happening to a player that does have a skill set like his that people are so big on too, because it's like, whether it was a bench guy or Dylan Raiola for that matter, like, you still care regardless. But I think seeing that, it's like, yeah, like, this is, like we said, it's a genuine guy. It's a guy who he's family oriented. He's going to be a good punter too. Like, you want this type of guy in your room, no matter what position he plays. So I mean, I respect him a lot for that. Crying's not something you want to do, I'm sure. But like you said, he did lock in too. Like, seeing that, like, I
watched it live and I was like,
yeah,
damn, dude, all right.
Yeah, I had to cut that clip for the morning show, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I could have locked back in like that. Like, it just seemed like, all right, I'm here, let me lock back in. That was awesome. But yeah, I respect him for it for sure. So that's great.
Easy guy to root for.
Yeah.
Tell you that much. And again, then you hear everything else on top of it. But yeah, I mean, you do get lost in it, especially in the era of NIL. It's like, well, you're getting paid and all this. It's like, you have no reason to be sad. And it's like, except for the part that they're still human. Like, you know, I don't care how much money you're getting. Like, that part's always going to stick with you a little bit. But then you're hearing all the comments on it. And then, you know, you watch some of his tape, and he's just kind of, I haven't really ever analyzed like a rugby style punter like that before.
Yeah.
And how unique it is. And like, he's just out there kind of playing soccer with it on his feet, and he is left and right. He'll take a few steps and he just booms that thing. And I'm super curious when you hear people like, I'll see if I can find the quote here while you answer this. When you hear people like Mike Eckler say he can be a weapon, what does that mean? How does that, like, how do you hear that and visualize it?
Yeah, I think especially coming from Eckler, which is awesome. I'm huge on that guy. I've said it quite a bit on here, but I think, like, hearing that your punter can be a weapon, I instantly think of like Iowa, and it's like, those guys are going to pin you back. Like, they're going to make, like, at Nebraska, you expect your defense to be well above average, close to elite here. And I think that's been shown for the most part. And so, like, I see a punter as just another defensive specialist. Like, we're taking yards away from y'all. We're going to put you in this in your own 10. And then here comes our line. Like, I think the way that they're going to utilize that, like, now you have a whole nother part of your game that you kind of really haven't had this elite that you're projecting for sure. Like, you hope that he's going to play like this in games, which shouldn't be too out of a translation. But I think that's awesome to hear that. Like, it's like, okay, we're truly going to be firing on all assets, kind of how an elite level team should be doing. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like, you hope so. It's like, in If you can be a weapon and just really have teams just never feeling comfortable on special teams and kind of make everybody else look like what Nebraska's looked like over the past, and like, you know, because again, you just watch those punts. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get, you know, maybe even see someone muff one because the spins on it's different. The way it comes at you, it just kind of like, it looks like I don't know how to describe it. It looks like it's got no rotation. It just looks like a dead ball flying through the air.
Floating.
Yeah, floating, and then it just drops hard. Thank you. That's why it looks like a knuckleball through the air, and then it just drops. So, and then of course, when you're kicking it that way, I'd imagine you'd have some better control on it. Again, you can go left or right. You can pick. Don't want to kick it to that guy, kick to the other side, and also kind of with that knuckleball, you kind of just drops a little bit dead sooner. So if you can just kind of pinpoint it, which I think that's maybe what they're hoping for, you can really pinpoint that thing and drop it dead, and you can pin teams back over and over. And we see what that does every year with Iowa. Like, Iowa wins the field position game in, game out. That's how they get 9. That's how they get 8. That's how they get 10. Because you look at the offense, you wonder, you know, how the hell is this Deacon Hill guy got this team playing so well right now? Well, it's not so much Deacon Hill. It's the special teams and defense.
Exactly.
They're just killing people, and offense just got to stay on the field and kill clock. And if they play patient, don't turn it over, their defense is going to play good enough to force them in a tough situation, and their special teams may even provide them a situation where the offense gets the ball and they're within field goal range.
Exactly.
Which happened a lot for Iowa, and then just kicking field goals without barely moving the ball. So
you get some free points there, really.
It's a weapon. It's a weapon that always gets lost. And for whatever reason, I shouldn't say it gets lost. I think it's really hard to find that right recipe. So when you find a guy like Archie Wilson, it gives you some hope. Last thing on Archie Wilson, here's Mike Eckler talking about him being special.
Man, that guy's special. I mean, he truly is. I mean, 18 years old, leaves home for the first time, goes to a different country, leaves his family, which he's unbelievably close to. And what Coach said about him is everything is accurate. I mean, that guy knows every one of his teammates, and his teammates love him because the energy he brings in the building, not just because he's able to do what he can do with the football, but the guy's special. And I said it the last place I was at, and I'll say it about Arch. The guy's going to be a damn weapon. And you got to understand this. In punting, special teams in general, every punt he hits isn't going to be a 55, 60-yarder. He'll miss hit one. That's going to happen. And when it does, I'll take it. All right, but I'm telling you, when you look up at the end of the year with his body of work, you're going to go, holy cow, this guy is the real deal.
Yeah, it makes me really excited. You don't want to drink too much Kool-Aid there.
Yeah.
But he's like, I mean, that's, you know, my biggest concern is they pull like Magic Johnson, Lonzo Ball. Like, when you're done, you're going to see his jersey in the rafters. Well, no, that didn't happen at all. It actually kind of flamed out. But I think Magic Johnson was over his skis on that one, kind of just stepping in, getting caught into the hype.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's going to happen, Mike Eckler. But, I mean, what are your thoughts when you hear that kind of stuff? Like, man, when you look at the end of the season, you're going to be like, we got somebody here who's, you know, got potential to be even really good in the NFL.
Yeah, I think, obviously, if I were to hear that from, like, a Texas guy, any other coach, it's like, okay, like, you really do believe in who you've got back there. But hearing it from a coach of that caliber, like Mike Eckler, who has been an elite special teams coach at Tennessee, like, in ways that you kind of don't see everywhere. Like, I don't think Texas has that elite. We've seen that. Like, this is a guy who knows exactly what he's doing. He went out of his way to get Archie. Like, I think just hearing this praise on him, and I also feel like the way he threw in there, he'll miss hit a punt, and that's not fine. But it's one of those things that he's a freshman, he's 19, you're going to accept it. But if he can provide so much more than those misses, which he's fully bought in on, as you can tell, like I think that's awesome. I wish that we had that in Texas, but like hearing that for Nebraska, hearing that from someone like Eckler, I think it truly does hold a lot of weight, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to your point, like Mike, that's what he knows.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, if you go to the doctor and tells you your bone's broken, it's like you're going to probably take his word for it because that's what he does. He knows exactly what he's talking about there. Mike Eckler, I mean, he's the special teams coordinator, and he's had his eyes on Archie for a while. He got more. We don't have those quotes there, but he knew as soon as he got to Nebraska, like, I'm keeping this guy on my radar. I need to get this guy, because I think when he was at Tennessee, he was already pretty aware of, okay, well, let me put this guy on my list from Australia, because I don't think everyone's aware of how good he can be.
That whole what they're building over there is crazy.
So shout out for Matt Roll for not only getting Mike Eckler, but you got Archie Wilson along with it, because that was one of his guys that he was actively recruiting out there. And who knows how good Tennessee could have been if he was still over there and they got an Archie Wilson. They still got to figure out the quarterback situation because I think it's still a quarterback duel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they haven't quite decided, so the offense might be the interesting part this year where that's a little inconsistent. But, boy, I'm kind of more down on Tennessee the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Special teams going to be a little bit downgrade. Offense could be lateral downgrade, upgrade. We just don't know. And you got a tight window to kind of put all those pieces together. But nonetheless, I'm super excited for it. Let's do this, and then we'll throw the break here. Best phases of the team: 1, 2, 3, offense, defense, special teams in your order. And in terms of, best unit, obviously you need a good offense to win. Doesn't matter if you're, but who do you think the best units are going to be next year? 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, I want to throw special teams. I can't throw them at one just because
I know we need more.
Yeah, I value them a lot, but I would hope, and I think the way it's kind of going, I think our defense is probably going to be more of the one, and then the offense too. Not that Dylan Raiola is not going to be a leader or anything, but I think a lot of the key guys that they're bringing in as far as coaching staff goes, and a lot of these portal players they're going after, new kids coming in, like I think the upside and the value is going to, not by much, but it's going to be more on the defense, just from what I believe. Like, I could be completely wrong. I think Dylan Raiola is going to have a great year no matter what. I think pieces they have on offense, I'm bought in for sure. But I think the defense is going to win us games, just like it should be in football for sure. But I think that's one of those. I just have defense higher right now with some of those coaches we brought in. I'm excited for it. And then I got offense and the special teams. But the way that it's looking, the coaches, the players, everything that we've heard, obviously you're going to hear good things from camp reports regardless. But I'm completely bought in on this. And it's not even the ranking of like, oh, special teams is last. It's like that's just where it's going to be. But the special teams is going to be elite. So I'm excited.
Well, and if you're going to win 9 games, you're not going to see too much separation between
you shouldn't be lacking too much.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be a playoff team. But
exactly. I'd switch it. I think honestly the offense might lead this year. Same thing. The talent they brought in. Tony White's interesting. I think John Butler can do a good job. I think they brought in Phil Snow in particular to really help him out with that. But you got to figure out how do we look without Ty and Nash out there?
Yeah.
I mean, those two guys were just wreaking havoc. That Boston College game, we probably don't win without it.
Yeah.
And like that's a real, even with even if Tony White is the defensive coordinator, I still don't know if we win that game without those two. Now the DB room is loaded and you got a lot of, so I think they'll be the real veteran leadership group, and we'll see. Maybe the defensive line, that development is much better than we're giving it credit for. And I don't think it'll obviously be what Ty Robinson was, but can they stay consistent? And I think we'll find out pretty early with Michigan.
Yeah.
If Michigan punches the hole up the middle over and over and we got no answer, we'll know we got a lot of work to do in that category. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nebraska being more aggressive on offense. Well, not more aggressive, but just actually landing, consistent blows on offense. We would try, but even Dylan Raiola last year with Satterfield would actually have some nice plays drawn up, really get the team set up, and then it'd be somebody wide open on some sort of action, misguiding them, and Dylan Raiola just overflowed it a little bit. Happened a few too many times last season, but as a true freshman, you kind of understand it. It takes some time to get used to. Ironically, his best ball is probably UTEP.
Yeah.
I mean, right through 2 defenders on the money. And then shout out to Isaiah Nayor for having the body balance to keep it going, run to the end zone. But, that was kind of like, oh, here we go. And then I think the confidence fluttered a little bit, and you're seeing some of those deep balls, good spiral, just a little bit overthrown there.
Yeah.
And I think if he makes that next step, all of a sudden we'll be seeing, explosive plays that aren't pass interference. Because that was kind of the other part. We would get some good balls out there, but it was really more lucky we got the pass interference call. And then we would just obviously, you'll take those anytime you can get. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see that accuracy from Dylan Raiola pick up. And if you're high on Emmett Johnson, high on the offensive line, like offense could turn to lethal before we know it.
Yeah. I also not forgot or slipped my mind there, but I think like the pieces that you have to replace on defense are probably going to be a little more valuable than you have to replace on offense for sure. So I'd probably flip it back to offense being up there because they do have some holes to fix on defense that you have to wait and see if they'll pan out. So I don't hate that either, but I'm expecting some good things from the defense though. But I completely agree with you on that now.
I think the defense, it would be fun if the defense was still number one, and only in the case that it just became like no fly zone, where our DBs are just turnover city, where they're just taken away, and like they have the capability to be, really make a quarterback stress. Like Singleton's over there, Buford. I don't really like either of those matchups. Okay, there's Hartzog. That brought in Wright. It's like even with the depth, you're like, you're not always going to get like great matchups. Now you're going to run some players who are going to be able to handle those, but if you're good, that's why I feel like Nebraska winning 9 games. I think with that defense, like if you're Say Maryland, are you going to have wide receivers that can win those battles one-on-one?
Probably. Maybe not.
And most likely not. Now, we could come in sleepy.
Exactly.
Like, there's always a possibility, and we don't have the right attitude, then they absolutely can. Yeah. But I do like our odds on paper with that DB room. But again, that offense to me, it finally has the chance to be explosive. With that being said, we got to throw it the break here. Don't go anywhere. Me and Rudy will talk some more Husker football for a couple more segments right here, 93.7 The Ticket.
In Nebraska, we show up when friends need help. We check in on our neighbors. That's why it's important to know the warning signs of suicide. If you have a friend or neighbor who's withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talks about suicide, find out how you can help. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. You have the power to save a life. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
We've been hunting these fields north of Kearney since high school. My buddy Ryan has always been my wingman, the life of the party. But I saw a change, and he got really down. Talked about his life being worthless.
If you know someone who's struggling, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home. Taking care of friends and neighbors. It's what we do in Nebraska. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it. Slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it. Slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here. Excuse me, 2 more segments, not the final segment. We got 2 more. Second segment, got Rudy to my left as always. We're going to stick with Husker football. We talked a lot about the special teams. I talked about the offense. I think they can be explosive, and if you're going to win 9 games, I think they're certainly going to need to show not just improvement, but a significant jump forward. And, a lot of it's got to look like how they looked against Wisconsin towards the end of the year there. Because that was game 2 with Dana Holgorsen, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
USC was the first game with them, and even at USC, you kind of saw some glimmers of it. And then Wisconsin was like, we might have gotten a guy here. And then, to be fair, Wisconsin is in a world of woe right now. They weren't in their best shape or form, and this year is not going to be any better for them when you take a deeper look at their schedule. Luke Fickell's got some testy waters ahead of him, to say the very least. But for Nebraska's case, a lot of it falls on Dylan Raiola. Pull him to stats, because again, last year, solid year for a true freshman. Like, seriously, I don't think there's anything to scoff at. Completion rating 67%, threw for 2,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, 11 picks. Did get sacked 27 times though. And his longest deep ball was good for 59 yards. Dylan Raiola, give me the touchdown interception ratio that you think we need to be if Nebraska's going to meet the lofty expectations of a 9-win season. And again, last year, 13 touchdowns, 11 picks.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to be more on like the 15 plus. Not that I don't think that he needs more or anything, but I think I'm big on the running backs room we have, so I think a lot of that touchdown load might come from there, hopefully. But I think anything 15 and above should be enough to get you in there. The biggest thing is going to be getting those interceptions down, though.
Exactly.
The more touchdowns you're going to be throwing, if the interception rate stays the same, it won't make too much of a difference. But I think if he can get that down and get anywhere near 15 and up, I think they'll be perfectly fine. Because he's still young. He's going to be making those passes that are probably going to get intercepted. You just got to close that rate down. And I think he will. I think he's kind of showed glimpses. From what I'm hearing, too, hopefully he is making those strides, and I fully believe in that he will. So I think he gets a couple more touchdowns in there, just lowers the interceptions, more yards too. I mean, that won't hurt. But I don't think he's that many. I don't think he's miles away from being where he needs to be a playoff or a 9-win quarterback either.
No, I think, and to your point, it depends what the run game does. And if we're preferring, because we have the power and ability to, say our offensive line's explosive, if you don't need to put the ball in the air in the end zone and you can just punch it in, you're probably going to just punch it in every time. Why would we risk it when we are fully confident we can just turn around, hand it off, and punch that thing in there? So touchdown, 15 plus. Usually your elite quarterback's going to be hovering around that 20 range. Yeah. So I think, if we see an elite version, probably 20. But again, the interception's got to cut down. That was the biggest thing for me. Touchdowns, again, we never know how it's going to play out. Elite quarterbacks usually hover around 20. If it's not 20, it doesn't mean he was bad. Interceptions, though, were always pretty indicative of how the season went for the quarterback. And for Dylan Raiola, a lot of it was middle of the season. I don't know if it was confidence. I don't know if he was maybe starting to doubt even Satterfield, or he was getting too confused. Because, again, Dana Holgorsen, the first thing he did really spoke about when he got down here was, hey, these wide receivers can't block worth a darn for despite how big they are, and they got better. I think he called him out for it, and the guys responded in a really good way. And Banks and Nayor, I thought, finished out their seasons really well. But also, he talked a lot about, like, this playbook is too much. You got a true freshman, and you gave him, essentially an encyclopedia. Like, let's just put it on one sheet here, because he is a true freshman. He's not just a true freshman playing at Central Michigan. He's playing in the Big Ten versus the big boys, and we are putting a lot on his brain.
Yeah, a lot of expectations there too.
Yeah, and it's like, I know these guys are more polished coming out of high school than ever, but as a true freshman, that's just too much. I mean, that was my thoughts on it. I don't know if it was as much as Dylan Rayo's talent as I really do think they were just overwhelming the kid.
Yeah, I think it also, I'm looking at the splits here. Like, he started off that first month of September hot. He had 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then you kind of talked about that, like, October kind of dip. He had no touchdown passes, 5 interceptions there. And it's like, then he finished with 3 interceptions. Then he got 1 in the last month of December, which, one game, but still.
Well, that was Boston College. Was that the bowl game?
Should have been. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But still, like, you obviously saw a better trend there. But I do think that playbook, simplifying it's never a bad thing, especially with the type of team you are building here. Like, you're not trying to air it out every single play. Like, I think it's someone that a simple play call, and then as he's developing, obviously expand it. You want more plays in there no matter what. But I think it was a good step for sure. I'm sure they've expanded it since then. I would hope so. But it's not like you need every single play from every single playbook to be on one thing, especially like you said, as a freshman, 5-star or not. Like, you want to make that transition as easy as possible. And he has the skills to make it to where it's not like you need these complex plays or you need every single play. Like, let him do what he's good at. Let his strengths show, and I think you'll be fine. So.
Yeah, and the tight end room is struggling a little bit too, I think. And it's, it was just tough. I think Fedoni, he was still coming off the injury, and like, we just never really got that rhythm. And did you play football growing up?
I did, yes. I was a defensive lineman and a center.
Oh, you played center? That is one position I would hate doing.
Yeah, I was good at it. It was so boring, but I was really good at it. I had an older cousin who was like a really good center, so he kind of just taught me stuff, but it was cool. It was cool just like figuring out like the little things, but I love football. I just got too many concussions and just figured out I'll be a baseball player.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I could never center. I played offensive line a little bit when I was growing up. C2 in Nebraska. My graduating class was 40 kids, so you can imagine they need bodies. They don't really care what you look like quite yet. We needed bodies. I think I was maybe like $170 playing defensive line. Nice. And we had a senior, shout out Chase Kelly. I don't know if he's even in the Lincoln area anymore. First concussion I ever had. And I knew right then from there, I was like, the line's too tough for me. I'm just not built for that. At the center position, did you have to become the X's and O's guys? Because our center was brilliant. I mean, the whole reason was he was at that position. He could block. And actually, I take that back. Our left tackle took over and helped him out quite a bit. Who was the brains of the operation for you? Normally, ideally, it's the center. For us, it was our left tackle.
Yeah, it was still relatively like 7th grade, 8th grade football, so I didn't need to be on everything. But I had played a lot growing up, so I picked up a lot of like the schemes and like where to be, things like that, a lot quicker than other guys. So it definitely helped with that role in that starting spot. But I don't know. I was just more of like I get to where I need to be, and obviously our line wasn't great. We were in San Antonio, so football's not big for the Hispanic community there sometimes. So we were pretty bad. So like I would do everything right, I think, but I don't know. It was hard to lead them.
Yeah, I don't believe you. It's a tough job to have because you get no thanks for it. You get the least amount of TV time because you're in the middle of the entire damn thing. So like you're rarely going to be seen. If they do see you, you snap the ball too early or you snapped it over the quarterback's head.
You're getting blamed when they know your name, so it's not great.
Cam Jurgens went through it, and now he is one of the highlight players in the NFL. Like, it's crazy. When he first started here at Nebraska, people were so upset with him. I mean, he was snapping the ball over Adrian's head over and over. It's like, this guy, I never said it. I'll be honest, I never said it. People were like, this guy stinks. And I was like, give him some time. Like, this is a hard position to get down, especially when you're just kind of thrown into it. And then he worked on it. It got polished. All of a sudden, we have one of the best centers in the Big Ten, and now he's one of the best centers in the NFL. Jenkins at that position. I am curious. Are you worried about that center position at all going forward next season? You are hearing some hype around Jenkins.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of buying into the hype, but I also feel like it's worth saying that I think a lot of the coaches for Nebraska do a great job of helping you feed into that. I will throw that out there, but I'm fully bought in. I think because whenever they do speak on him, it's never oh, he's doing nothing wrong. It's like we're seeing his growth, we're seeing his progress. Like they're giving you kind of the truth right in front of you, regardless. So I'm bought in with the hype too. I mean, I think he still has places to go, and I'm cool with that. But I like what they're saying about him. I like what he's showing.
It's interesting. The offensive line is intriguing because on the bright side, you finally got some depth there. At least it feels like it, right? Because you get Elijah Pritchett, Lutovsky. We talked about center Justin Evans Jenkins, and then you get Rocco out of Notre Dame, Teddy Prohaska coming back as well. And then you got Turner Corcoran, who I think, again, some of these injuries you forget about. And then you got Gunnar Katula, you're hearing some things about as well. So at least it feels like we're in a position where if one guy goes down, we're not like, oh, holy hell, who's going to cover that role? Yeah. Because we've been in times where, and I think guys have done good at those times. Like Teddy Prohaska is one of those guys who found a way to kind of make it work, but you're asking a lot. And sometimes it works, sometimes it goes really south, and then you kind of know where that defense is really going to be putting a lot of pressure on you if you got that weak spot there. So, I'm again, that's why I kind of put that offense number one. It's like the offensive line finally feels like it has some depth. Yeah. It also has some consistency, like the fact that Donovan, right? Donovan? I'm mixing up all my roles. Offensive line coach Donovan Raiola is out there, and he's been there even that Scott Frost era. Like offensive line has gotten such a bad hand of like, man, you guys are inconsistent. And it's like, well, maybe if we don't give them a new offensive line coach every other year, they would be a little bit more consistent. I mean, it's crazy to ask these athletes to be consistent when they've had a different coach, what feels like every other year.
Yeah. No, and I think Rule keeping him around also was like, okay, like that's a green flag for us. Like
he was the only stay too, which was, and most people were most upset about that.
Yeah. I think he probably sees it kind of how you would see it. I wouldn't disagree by any means either. Like he hasn't had a great deal at the hands, like in and out, poor productive on every other aspect of the game as well. It's like, let's see if we can build it. And he obviously sees something in him that he trusts as an offensive lines coach. So, I mean, I'm cool with it. It's obviously paying off in the talent you're getting from the portal, who you're building up. Like, I think it's paying off. It should pay off from what we're seeing right now is where I'm at.
Yeah, and like, you could always say, well, it's because Dylan, that's the only reason why he kept him there. And it's like, maybe there's a grain of truth to that. But if Matt Rule thought, I mean, the offensive line is the most important thing in college football. If Matt Rule didn't think he could get the job done, he's not staying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter if you get Dylan Raiola, if you got a horrible offensive line coach that can't protect him. So, like, that's kind of where I get that part of the argument. But if you don't have any belief in him, that is in the Big Ten and all conferences, like, what are we doing here? And I know Matt Rule's not that stupid. Like, I don't think any college football coach would be that dumb too. I'll just do everything I can to get this quarterback. Offensive line sucks, whatever. Not that big of a deal. Like, obviously, you got to trust who's coaching that position group if you want to have any sort of success, especially at the Power 4 level. We got to throw it to break already. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep talking a little bit more Husker football to wrap things up here, and then we'll get to the best of the ticket. Appreciate you guys listening. Don't go anywhere, though. One more segment on the other side.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Play ball!
Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity,
Not to make friends, but just to get something to eat.
or a retiree who fell ill and had to
choose between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
We've been hunting these fields north of Kearney since high school. My buddy Ryan has always been my wingman, the life of the party. But I saw it change, and he got really down. Talked about his life being worthless.
If you know someone who's struggling, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home, taking care of friends and neighbors. It's what we do in Nebraska. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you live a tobacco-free life, you're free to live more fully. You're free to be more active and to breathe easier when you are, to be more present with family and friends, and to enjoy food and drinks more fully without nicotine dulling your senses. Tobacco-free can mean better physical health, mental health, and financial health. Giving up tobacco can give you more life. Learn more at quitnow.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska, aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Old School with Foreman and Orman.
Any tips for a dad who just volunteered to be a YMCA flag football coach less than a week before the season started because no one else had volunteered to coach the fifth graders up to that point?
Tylenol for your headache.
Put some in your cup. Put some in your cup, and make sure your contract is 1 year only.
Medicate, bro.
Frank Reich. Frank Reich at Stanford.
Yep.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, final segment here with Rudy, and of course, best of ticket for you guys as always. If you guys want to join in, any last second comments, or him at text line or any of these streams, Rudy, I want to talk about. Give me whether it's position group, coach, player. We're not talking about him enough right now, but come middle of the season, we'll be saying this guy's name or position group a lot.
I've been big on the running backs room, so I'll try to get away from there a little bit. Let me go.
Running backs room's interesting. I
think that injury with Ives kind of just.
He was the clear set number 2 guy, and now you're like,
that makes it tough.
It's a single-digit jersey guy as well, so it's like it's a leader, and I understand why they were high on him, but it's like bad timing.
That's gonna suck, yeah, for sure. I think I'm really big on that defensive lines coach for sure, Terry Braden.
Yeah, that's my guy out of Kansas City Chiefs.
I think that's a huge reason why I am as big as I am on that defense, kind of at least producing at a high level this year, is because of what he's going to bring to because you're not going to get who you lost in that production. We know that. But if you can get someone that can coach him to be elite across the line, or at least well above average from what he can bring in experience-wise, I think that's going to be huge. So I think that's someone that should be getting more praise as the season goes on. We'll see. That's my projection for that.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I'm going to steal it even because that's how Terry Braden to me was one of the sneaky good coaches, and I do think we'll talk about him more and more. Of this defensive line's actually doing much better than we anticipated. I wonder who's responsible. Oh, that's right. We forgot. We got Terry Braden over the course of the summer, and I just like coaches that know what winning's like.
Yeah,
we saw it with Kurt Signani. It didn't matter at what level. He knows how to win. And then he went to Indiana, and guess what? He kept winning. He's got to work with Jones, one of the best defensive linemen in the entire NFL right now. So he knows what the elite of the elite looks like. He knows how to, coach those guys up in the postseason. And I know there's a difference in the NFL and college, but I just think that's a vast amount of experience and a guy with a winning culture coming into that room. And then of course we talk about the other pieces. That with John Butler, and then I think Phil Snow. You're getting a lot of eyes on that defensive line room. Now, is the coaching enough to cover up the skill gap? I don't know. I don't think it probably can be. But the bright side is, I think you can coach it up enough to where it's not just this glaring weak point in defensive line. I'm pretty high on that. That's a great one. Terry Braden, literally, I was the guy I wanted to talk about. I just think that running back room, I couldn't tell you who it's going to be because the coaches can't even tell you right now, and I'm not there at the practices. Someone's going to sneak out of that running back room that's not Ives. Whether it's that third running back, and even if Ives is healthy and he starts playing really well and then down the stretch, but I think you get into your third and sometimes even fourth running back a lot sooner than you anticipate.
Yeah.
And there'll be a guy, I think, in that third string where we're kind of impressed. We're like, this guy's young, but if he keeps at it, like he can be running back 1, 2 before we know it. So I'm looking at that running back room in a little bit different way. Like I'm just kind of curious who is going to emerge.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be electric, but it's just a big question mark.
Yeah. Someone does have to step up there for sure with that. So, I mean,
They're moving players into the room, and that's, kind of a red flag.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's like it can be a green flag, but sometimes I see it as like you desperately need help and you're willing to move guys around. Yeah, because what you have in the room, you don't think it's good enough. Otherwise, you would just keep developing them. So that part is a little bit concerning for me. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought since we had the exact same answer. I'll ask you this. Big Ten, who do you think, I was listening to Austin, Jay, and DP talk about it, and it was a great segment. Give me best tailgate in the Big Ten.
Oof. I want to throw Penn State maybe in there. I've seen like on their big game days, I throw Ohio State up there, honestly. I want to.
Have you been to the outside the horseshoe?
Not.
Okay.
But like it's one of those ones that like it sounds like it's electric for a reason.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why I'm there on it. I think Nebraska does a decent job of it. I don't think it's horrible by any means. I think it's exactly what you expect from Nebraska fans. Like it's good.
It's just spread out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
The toughest part about Nebraska tailgates is like if you've experienced them is you have like the under the bridge. That's awesome. You've got a spot there. Then you got a bunch of spots, a few blocks away. And then you got some people. We're just spread out. So it's it's hard to have like a big hoorah party because there's, and that can be a good thing too. Maybe you don't like the massive sea of crowds, but it's not as chaotic. But the fans are obviously some of the best fans ever. I mean, the best thing about Nebraska tailgates is if you're walking by and they got extra burgers, hot dogs, beers, they'll toss.
Oh
it.
yeah.
That part's pretty awesome. I do enjoy that. Michigan State.
Okay.
The Woodshed. I've never been there, but I hear that place is a riot.
Yeah.
And especially if they're good, like they were with Mel Tucker before it went horribly south.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like up in Michigan State, those guys know how to party and they want to party because they know they're not Michigan. So it's like, we're not Michigan, but we're here to have a damn good time.
We're going to have fun while we're doing it, though. I think one that I'm interested in is like one that I would throw on there that I would love to go to would be an Oregon tailgate. I feel like they might not get as rowdy, but I feel like they're probably more in one location, at least from what I've seen. Like, I think when they're like, I'm sure at the end of that season last year, it was probably so electric going to some of those games. So, I mean, that'd be super awesome, I think.
That one's a great selection. And it's, come on, you're a beautiful location up there in Oregon. And I always got beef with Autzen Stadium because I don't think it's that intimidating of a place to play because you only hold 54,000. But people say it's designed. It's Nebraska's got a damn theater walls circling all around it. I think we have pretty good sound architecture, but whatever. Okay, Autzen Stadium. I'll get off that rant because I've done it 100 times. One of the most beautiful stadiums, and I do think it'd be a great tailgate spot because it is. Again, I don't think it's maybe the most intimidating, but it is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. I love where Oregon plays. It is one of the best locations in the Big Ten. Before we get out of here, give me the worst. I got mine right off the top of my head. This year, this upcoming year, I'll even help you out.
I don't think I'd want to go to an Illinois tailgate. I don't think they'd be the worst. That's just one that I don't think I'd be intrigued to go to. If someone's like, "Oh yeah, come with me and my buddy," I'm probably not. I'm good. That's where I'm at. What do you got?
Think about a tailgate with Northwestern's current field right now.
Yeah, that's
the makeshift. I don't know if they got a tailgate section, but even like at the old stadium, I mean, that was one of the most beat up old football stadiums in the entire Power Four. Like it's got to be a tough place to tailgate, and you're not winning a whole lot.
Exactly.
And it gets cold up there before you know it. So it's already to me the worst. Yeah. And now with the makeshift field, like I don't know what you guys going on up there. If you really tailgate at all, if you just kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like it's so open. It might be one of those, but the tailgate is like, remember in high school where your parents just like pull up to the field with their lights on and watch from their car?
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens a little bit with Northwestern until they get that new. Stay in the car. It's a little too cold outside. Yes. The wind's howling right off the lake. But that's it. I'll stop picking on Northwestern. I will say new arena does look exciting for those guys, but that's going to wrap it up for us. That's Rudy. I'm Harrison Arens. Best of the ticket coming up next. Appreciate you guys listening, but don't go anywhere.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house.